I have never been less excited to do a race than I was this past Sunday, which was at Bathurst. For those who are, familiar with Australian tracks, not, it's a very good track. I love this track. Amazing place to drive. I have a good history with this track before the F4s with Bathurst win in the GT3 6 hours of Bathurst with Sanfin Hayden. And that was a good memory. We did lap the entire field, and for me, I felt like my performance of all tracks in this track had to be mega. I had to, do the job and get myself in a good spot today, heading into this weekend. I wouldn't say I was that confident because it was very. Bathurst is not the most straightforward track for anyone, and although I do have trust in myself to drive very well, I will admittedly, say that I didn't have that much confidence that over the race I'll be able to escape all incidents, especially through sector 2 here, going through the S's. Of course, this being my quali lap on the soft tires, and at this point, the best thing I can do for myself is, if not pole, at least P2. And at this time, I wasn't the first to go out again. I did go out much later than the rest of the guys. So Nick had already set his lap. I believe Boebie had already set his lap. But it was my turn, and so far, actually, so good. Of course, it's not up to the standard that I set in the practice sessions leading up to this qualifying, but although I wouldn't say it's the peak, I've not maximized every corner, but I've certainly not dropped the ball in any corner. And going around the final corner here, hitting my apex, and that was at the very least a very good lap. And compared to the rest of the grid, qualifying pole ahead of Boebie and Nick, who were really close to each other, was a huge success. Senf P4, Abdullah P5, Aj P6, Base P7, and as far as that goes, super happy.
Why is RJ
Jesus
there?
Christ.
The fuck?
I'm in fifth somehow.
Right. Mega Quali P1 in the grid next to Boebie, which honestly doesn't give much advantage. All I can do now is have a good start, and I get an amazing start off the line. I just much less wheel spin than Boebie behind, able to hug the inside and leave us P1. Although I wouldn't really say that's the best thing for me because Boebie is behind in the slipstream. And at this point, yeah, game over. But Boebie decides to bump draft, which in the F4s I would say, please man, please don't do that. And I was really pissed that happened. What it did. And I did retain P1 because Boebie really wanted to work together to get away from Nick, and I like that style of thinking. I'll never say no to that. Reduce the chances of losing that P1 spot. Instead of making it a fight for 3 people, you make it a fight for 2. And that's exactly what's going to happen here, at least in Sector 2. Me and Boebie do make that kind of small gap ahead of Nick, but right here, Boebie really has no throughway against me or at least any other car, because making that move in Sector 3 just loses you too much time over the lap, and it's honestly a net negative, especially the back straight coming here down for his elbow. Very easy to luck up, but so far for a fast lap, knowing how light the car gets in the downhill and how easy it is to spin in this car, at least in Sector 2, super successful. And this is the most difficult the car is going to be, since it's at its heaviest. It'll be over the race, but very well to get through there clean. I did manage to get that gap from Boebie behind, which was mega. And right now that's the same thing I have to maintain the whole race, because space I need from drafting the car behind, I need to be at least 0.5 seconds away so they don't get any slipstream. And you know, that's what we're doing right now. And we just have to keep doing this lap by lap by lap by lap. Always fighting, always just keeping the speed up, and you always have to be selfish with P1, you know, that's racing. And behind me, it was heating up between my two rivals. Nick in the blue on the inside on turn 2, is it? And he gets that overtake done quite easily, which is very embarrassing. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the race was really boring. This is the second last lap. There's 1 minute on the clock. I was leading every single lap the whole way. I think the biggest the gap ever got to the car behind was around 3 seconds. I don't remember whether it was Nick or Boebie, but it was about 3 seconds. And at this point of the race, I decided to donate that P1 spot to Boebie behind, which was super painful and something I just wanted to gloss over quickly and not talk about it too much during this race. Coming into this race, Ferrari had just won Le Mans again, and I was super nervy. Not super nervy, but I'd say 1 out from being super nervy for that. And at this point, you know how much I love Ferrari. You can ask anyone in Venus my opinions on Ferrari. At the moment, I really did not care that happened. I did not care that I dropped it from P1 because Ferrari had won. So if Boebie is watching, just know that this P1 that you just got doesn't matter to me. It's absolutely nothing. I wouldn't feel good about it because, you know, I obviously have no emotion about dropping that P1 clearly, as you can hear. And yeah, that was the end of the race. Nothing much to say. Fuck off.
She said that she love me, baby. I just wanna cheat.
I'm gonna overtake you in the race and then park the bus.
I don't mind it, honestly. We could have a good race, I'm all for it.
You know you can go to jail for that shit, huh?
What?
Riding a nigga dick with no license?
Marco is P4?
Yeah, fuck you, Senf.
This game is so rigged, dude. I got sent to P11.
You know what I'm saying? Cause yeah, that's what real hating is all about, man.
Man, fuck. This time I thought I had a clean start and I got brake checked.